Welcome. We have a really good show today. We've had some amazing shows, and I don't think that this one is going to come up short by any means. This is the holiday season. We just came out of Thanksgiving. We are moving into Christmas and Kwanzaa. And for those who celebrate Hanukkah and are Jewish, we have that celebration coming up as well. It's a busy time. It is a time where people are moving about with families and they're celebrating. It also can be juxtaposed with those who struggle during the holiday seasons. That can also be challenging because it reminds you of who we don't have with us as we celebrate the holidays. Well, we have a young man in here who, no matter what the season, we have this wonderful topic that I think is going to help us out during this season. And I'll let our guest introduce himself. Who's with us today? Musadeen? Who's here today?
All right, I'm Damon Harrell Jr., second year PT student out of the Arkansas College of Health Education. I'm joining these two here today.
And this is my lovely son.
What's our topic today?
So today, before I introduce the topic, I'm going to introduce a story. So we're a Rottweiler family. We have two Rottweilers, two different personalities. And this morning, I'm going up the stairs and they're both following me, both waiting on my command. I tell them to sit. And they both sit and look at me and I say, they look like sheeps in the pasture, being still in the pasture. Now our two Rottweilers have two distinct personalities. One will follow me everywhere, needs to have eyes on me. I'll tell him to sit by the front door. I walk away. He's walking around the corner just to see if he has his eyes on me. And the second one, a little bit more secure. I tell him to sit, he'll stay. He knows his place. He's pretty comfortable in the house. So if you were to change that story into the analogy about how we are with God, let me ask you, which one is right and which one is wrong in terms of attitude and following God and looking for God?
I think it could be a combination of both, but if the humanistic part of me says I want the one whose eyes on me and follows.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's both also, but one is more secure in their word and, knowing God got me no matter what. And so that's where faith comes in. So we have, different levels of in our Christian walk. And so if we're looking at God to take care of everything, I'm comfortable, I'm just going to sit here. And so and then the other dog that wants to seek also God, which is a good thing, seeking, trying to find information. What do I need to do at this moment right now? I'm looking at you, tell me what I need to do. And so it's both good, I would say.
I would say there is no right or wrong. I think you guys both hit it on the head. One is very secure that God has me and I'll be okay. And the other one's always searching and looking. God says, seeking you will find. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to the two, it's just very important as long as they both listen upon giving commands. Mm-hmm. So when I say sit, make sure they're sitting. Mm-hmm. It would be a problem if the one that was too secure said, I don't need to move because God got me. Mm-hmm. And it would be a problem if the other one was panicking every time that he didn't see me. Mm-hmm. So it's a combination of both. Kind of like you said, it just depends on your Christian walk. So we need to be secure in Christ and who he is, to know that he always has us, but always also keep our eye on him as well. Mm-hmm. So it just led me to the topic of just being still in the pasture. So when I told them to sit, they were both looking at me, they both heeded my commands, but they were both totally trusting that I had their best interest in mind, which is the same that can be said in our walk with Christ, that he has our best interest in mind. So how do you guys go about being still in the pastures? What does that look like to you guys?
I'll start on that. being still in the pasture, it's kind of like when I opened. When you step outside, let me make it personal. When I step outside my house to begin a day, there are so many things that we deal with in a day. In the work that we do as caregivers, and looking after those who are disabled and are elderly, those clients always have issues of concerns that come up, and they come up multiple times throughout the day. And so just being mindful of, today is going to be another day where we're going to deal. We had a loss today. They are going to, we don't know, we can't even anticipate what's going to happen for the day. So I'm saying there's so many things. So it's just being in that mind frame of, okay, Lord, what am I going to do today? So I start each day. We talk all the time, Micheline and I, just how do we start our mornings? I start my day with prayer. When I open my eyes, I'm a gratuitous person. I'm a minimalist. I don't need a lot to live. I'm very thankful for each day that God gives me. I believe that we're not promised tomorrow. And so I live out of that. And when I move, I move in purpose. I believe that every day is purpose. And that's why I get up today. If I don't move out of that, if I don't live out of that, I'm not very much alive. I don't look for humans' answers to the world. I need the Lord to be able to show me what that is, right? And so when things do come up in the day, and they do come up, this is a holiday season. It is busy. Even when driving to work, people are driving fast. People are moving fast. Problems are going to find us, even if I'm not looking for one. With our clients, things come up. With best planning, best organization, things can be all in order and things still happen. So prayer is essential for me in order for me to find peace. But I'll say this one thing on this topic, I'll stay in peace and I'll stay peaceful as long as I keep my mind on Him. And if I do those two things, I'm good. I don't rattle as easily. But the minute I take my eyes off of my Heavenly Father and what my mission is daily, then I succumb to the things that are around me. So for me, it's a daily walk. I have to be mindful and purposeful and keeping my mind on Him so I can rest.
What about you?
Rest in His stillness. So again, waking up with a routine. It has to be a daily routine. I had this conversation with a friend yesterday evening. There's no way I can see myself walking out the house and not focusing on Jesus, first of all, because the day is going to be chaotic as it is. But, having Him on the forefront of my mind, it really helps. So staying in Him all the time in His stillness, because at the end of the day, like Jeanette was saying, we deal with people's lives and things happen at the drop of a moment, and so we have to shift. Our day is never what it says we're going to promise, that we're going to plan this, and this. It's going to go this, that, and then figure out how to come back to the this. We may not ever come back to the this, And so learn to be flexible in the when. And so having God's peace, sometimes things can get rattled. We had a situation yesterday, Jeanette and I was talking on the way here. People would just show up and they expect you to do all these dances and flips and turns for them, and you have this day already planned. And so it rattles a little bit of the day, but having God's peace and just stopping and taking deep breaths and coming back to and regroup, And so I believe I live in peace in His presence all the time, and His stillness, because I choose to practice that on a daily.
Can I ask you, student, second year student?
Yeah.
What's the name of your college?
Arkansas College of Health Education.
Okay,
So,
that's serious, right? What type of program is that?
Doctoral.
Doctoral program. So let's talk to you about how do you keep, because I know, right, you're probably on break right now.
Yep, just finished my semester.
So you did some finals, right?
Yes.
Talk to us about your stillness and what happens to you during that time.
This life is so unpredictable. I know a lot of people have problems or trouble making decisions when life becomes unpredictable. For me, I just try to seek the wisest choice. I know wisdom comes from the Lord, so it allows me to be in action while also seeking God at the same time and not being stuck. There is part of the time where you just have to sit and actually be still to get that wisdom, but seeking the wisest option or the wisest way to live is also seeking God's way to do things. So I just funnel everything through that. Never encountered this before. What does the Bible say? What is the wisest way to go about this? Let me take my time, but also not be stuck in indecision. I think that's just how I go about it.
How'd your finals go?
They went well.
You have your outcome?
For the most part. There's still some things settling in, but it went well.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So, we do in-home services, and this is a season where people are dealing with a lot of things. Okay. I'm going to start at the top. At the top, what I feel like is the top is loss. Loss is really difficult. We had a person, like I said, we were just got news that one of our clients didn't make it today, didn't make it. And so this is a holiday season. What do you say to those families who are dealing with this overarching, this sadness during the time of year that is supposed to be the happiest time?
Kind of going off that statement, I don't know if there is a happy time of year. I think every emotion is good in the Lord. So grief is good in the Lord. Sadness is good in the Lord because God experiences those things too. So every single emotion we feel can be tied back to how close we can be with God. So when we're grieving, God is grieving too. When we're happy and joyful, God is happy and joyful too. It also comes with like accepting the free gift of joy. You can be joyful in any season. In grief, in sorrow, and anger, you can still have that underlying joy because God offers it freely. God offers peace freely. So to be joyful is a choice because he just offers it, but also realizing that those other emotions aren't bad emotions because it can just bring you closer to the Father in terms of connectivity. Like, I'm grieving. This is how Jesus felt when this was going on. This is probably how God feels when this is going on. So it can just bring you to a greater understanding of who God is.
And I can choose joy.
Yes.
Your comment, your thought?
Definitely, just to piggyback on that, because God is our joy, and I know not everybody's there. We cannot talk for the majority of individuals, especially if they don't even acknowledge God. And so that's a different part of who they are. But again, we cannot convince anyone. We're just talking from our experience and what we do to find joy in the Lord, no matter what the situation is. And again, I can relate to the loss of a loved one and not having them during the season. But again, when you look at the whole big picture, Jesus is our mighty counselor. He's our way maker. He's all of that. So I think it's just how individuals would choose to gravitate towards that. Even the loss of our client, we had them for such a time as whatever we had them for, and we're grateful. And I use the gratitude thing, and we thank God for allowing us to be in those people's lives during that time. And so, encourage our caregivers, just keep doing what you need to do in terms of keep loving the people that you have. This is a hard task. This is a hard job working with individuals and their personalities and their families and not just that individual. So you guys are dealing with more of a community. I guess it's like a community to help this person stay home longer or however the situation is. But also, even if that person is sad in this season, maybe you will you'll help the person come to what does their joy look like, and it's not in things or the season to give. It's given, but what are we giving? Is it material or are we giving love?
Good question. It's a good question for us, a good rhetorical question, during this time of the year. What are we giving to other people? What are we providing for others? What are we giving to them? Stillness. How would you define that?
Kind of answering both of those questions, the presence. I think people underrate the impact of just being there. And whenever someone loses someone, people often feel like they need to say something or do something. But just think, you go back to Elijah when he was depressed. What was God doing? He was just there with his presence. Go lie down, I'm here. So I think that's one of the best things you can give someone is your presence. Sometimes you don't need to say anything, just I'm here in the same space. You can look, and I'm here. So yeah, so I think stillness is presence. The same way, going back to the dogs, even if I'm not there physically, they know my presence is there in terms of I'll be there, so they can go and have freedom and run around and play because they know that my needs are going to be taken care of.
That's powerful. That is powerful. I think that you hit it dead on. There are times naturally, particularly when people are around you that you love, you don't want to see them hurt. And you don't want them to leave. You know, I think those are very normal feelings or emotions because there's a part of us that want to keep the people with us that we love. But then as we grieve, because grieving is a part of the journey, how do I support those who are around me? And I think that's legitimate, especially in the work that we do. And you might find those who are in public service. What can I do during that time? I like what you said, being present. If you don't have the words, if you don't have the gift or the perfect gift you think, just being there is important. It's critical. It's being a part of that, being present. So you're really wise.
Thank you.
Yeah, very wise young man. Good answers.
And to kind of go along with that, I think the need to control, because that's sometimes what it stems from. Oh, they're in pain, I need to take that away. I think the need to control and getting rid of that is true freedom. I think that goes back to being still in the pastures. Those dogs know they don't have control over anything but whether they listen to me or not. Same thing here. So if someone is grieving, you need to know it's out of your control. You can't take away their pain, you can't take away their hurt. The only thing you can ever control in life is how you respond to situations. So knowing that you give that control to the Father, the Good Shepherd, you can only, like I said, you can only control how you react. So giving that up, then you can feel a true peace, a true sense of peace, because you're no longer trying to control things you were never meant to.
So you mentioned service, right? How far away are you in your programming, by the way?
I graduate in May of 2026, so I just finished my second semester of my second year.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, that's a really good thing. So a couple of years away, right? I asked you, the next question was, well, what do you want to do? Where do you want to go once you're done? And you said?
The goal is just to serve. Physical therapy is just one method of which I'm going to serve. My life is servitude. So one thing I found with long-term goals is a lot of people, a lot of time say, I want to get here and this is my goal and this is my purpose. But then if that's the end all be all, are you living in purpose every day? So for me, physical therapy is just one method of which I'm going to serve, but my life every day should be servitude, opening the door, smiling at people. Now you look nice today. Just being kind to people. That's what true service looks like. So physical therapy is just an outlet of which I want to help people, but my life leading up to that point should already be service. Should already be, all right, God, how can I walk in your purpose today? Because I have breath in my lungs, so you're still including me in your plans, which you don't have to. And that's the blessing in it itself. And you're not going to be perfect at that, but I think it's an everyday thing. So as long as I have breath in my lungs, I'm still included in God's plan, and I can still be of service.
That's really good. You've been at it a long time.
Yeah.
We're old timers in the fire.
Old timers.
You've been burning it all up. Tell me about when you're in the fire, because in the storm.
Yes.
In the eye of the storm is peace. When there's a major storm, but in the eye of these storms are total calmness. And usually before there is major storm, it's calm before the storm. Yes. Talk to me about your journey, Mr. Dean, because your son just gave a wonderful answer. This second year physical therapy student gave a wonderful answer in terms of controlling how you respond to a circumstance. Chime in for those people who are, again, loss is one, or feeling like I can't find, you know how it is, you're running around, I can't find the perfect gift, or I can't get the perfect dinner, or I forgot to get the groceries today. And, oh, by the way, the clothes weren't jumped off at the cleaners, and oops, I forgot to let the dog out. And, the list goes on. So these storms are a natural part of life as we live, right?
Yes.
How do we control our reactions to the storm? How have you done it over the years? Because we talked about perseverance.
Right, we had.
Right? What was our other words? We had a couple of more words.
Stamina.
Stamina. Give me one more.
Oh, you put me on the spot.
I did put you on the spot.
Really?
We've talked about perseverance. We've talked about having stamina.
Endurance.
We talked about endurance. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good
Courage.
job. Having courage.
Yep.
How we do that.
Yes.
So,
yes.
yeah. Now I'll let you respond. Go ahead.
Again, life happens, and we have to see it that way, and not let life rattle you. Okay. As doing business for 26 years or however long I've been doing business, 25 years, whatever, I lost track. Anyway, in the 20s. However, the situation lives is, every day is a learning piece. And to respond, you want to respond where it's not going to demeanor somebody or humiliate someone or anything as such. And so I've learned that over the years, just having different situations. You still want to be factual with however you respond. And so the more facts you have, the better you can really give a broader perspective on things. And I'm just thinking of a situation right now we're currently working through. In this journey, you cannot quit. There's no such thing as quit. Like Damon says, we have a purpose. We have to walk, and you said that same thing. We have to walk in our purpose. And every day is a new challenge. But guess what? You fail, you get back up, and you keep going. So there's no such thing as, oh, I fell, I'm not no good, I'm stopping, I'm quit, I'm done, I'm not even touching that anymore. For the ones that are working on New Year's is coming, New Year's resolution. I don't say it's a resolution because it's a lifestyle, and you can start that today. You don't have to wait till New Year's to say, well, I want to lose weight. Let me go get to the gym. You can start today, whatever that outlook is for you, your goal, your drive or whatever. In terms of people that are in grief sessions, again, there's so many resources out there for grieving and don't be in the dump for too long. I would just say that, it's okay to grieve. Those are emotions. We have to go through those processes of grieving. We talked about those in the past. Stages of grieving. And so you don't want to stay in just, I don't want to do anything motion. You want to get up, take your bootstraps, pull them up, and keep moving, And again, if you have to get a partner, a friend, someone to give you that motivation to keep going on a daily, but guess what? The greatest motivator is Jesus. So if you don't have Jesus, get him. But that's the motivation to keep going on a day because again, you have breath in your lungs and you have a purpose on this planet Earth.
So, Damon, affirmations. Do you have affirmations that you do or say or repeat? I know that you're Bible-based. Do you also have affirmations to help you through the day, daily?
I do. I have a whiteboard at home, and I just write certain messages. So this is the day the Lord has made. I'll rejoice and be glad in it. Just reminder that you woke up, smile. You do have a purpose. You do have an impact. Just certain things like that. I'm a strong believer. If you're feeling low in an area, that's just your chance to reaffirm it with Bible. So that goes for anybody. Whatever you're feeling low in, there's verses that you can write down and just reinforcing yourself every day until you're not there anymore. You have the power behind it. So.
Okay. So scripture. We do have some holidays, family out there. We have that talks about that Kwanzaa has faith and cooperative economics and purpose. And there are 7 days that you can take one day each and focus on a day, each day, light a candle, and think about that quality or that concept that you want to deal with for that day. Bible scriptures every day. I like that you said if there's a space or there's a feeling or something or a hole in my day, I'll take it and I feel it with that word. We talked about often making sure you have someone else that's around you that can provide that support for you as you're going through, because it's important to be able, especially during holiday times and when you're going through difficult times, to make sure that you have other people who are around you that can be present with you. who's not going to judge you, that's going to allow you to have that emotion. Because it's just important to be able to get it out as we move through. Now, we are less than 30 days away, New Year, 2025, as we move through. And you can go back to your analogy of your presence and the Rottweilers. What does that mean as we move through and we look into another year?
I still think it's just taking it one day at a time. Because even though we're so close to 2025, there's no guarantee. The next second isn't promised, the next hour, or the next day. So just taking it one thing at a time. And then you address problems as they come up, but also count it all joy when a problem does come up. If you have problems, you're still alive. So it's just all about perspective and how you decide to see things, because ultimately you can control how you see things as well. So something can happen and you can go off the deep end, or you can decide I'm going to do what's best for my mental health and change the perspective to which I can build on this.
We've had a lot of mental health perspectives, yes.
We had perspective talk a couple weeks ago.
Yes, we did. Yeah, you're right on point. Did you watch our shows before you came in?
I've watched snippets of the shows.
No, I'm teasing you, but we really have had those conversations. If you don't mind me asking, I know you're a second student, and I know this is a question a lot of women don't like to answer. And if you don't want to answer, you don't have to answer. But how old are you? Okay.
I am.
Let me give you a range. Let me give you a range. So
He said it. He said
Did you?
Yeah, I'm 23 years old.
I know you don't like to answer that question.
No.
It doesn't bother me.
It doesn't bother me.
I'm an old lady.
I like to ask, why not though? Like
not?
your age is signifies how
You're
long
23?
you've been here. Yeah, I'm 23.
Same age as my son. Okay, 23.
How
So-
many years God has kept you here?
Absolutely.
But why don't women like to talk about their age?
It doesn't matter.
That's a whole nother time. We're going to get on perspective with
Yeah,
you.
perspective.
We'll talk about that, have that show.
Yeah.
The reason I said that is because at 23, I think that, millennials, right? Gen Z.
Gen Z.
You're Gen Z,
Z,
yeah.
right? To talk about Gen Z, okay, I'm a little millennials, Gen Z. That Gen Z generation, TikTokers, what else are they into? Instagram. Facebook, which we have followers out there, and that Gen Z generation of your time, you're the voice and leadership of today. You have a lot of wisdom, incredibly amount of wisdom. Kudos, mom, dad. Dad is here in the studio as well with us today. Just opted not to join us today on the panel, but is definitely here. And I think that's foundationally if I'm fair to say that helps with giving you the what you need to be able to kind of stabilize, to stabilize as you move through or matriculate through. How do you, because you still have options and you have the choice, right, at 23 years old to make those choices. And my question to you is, how are you able to have such clarity at this age? That vision to be able to see.
Not being afraid to fall on your face. I think a lot of people are scared of failure, but I say if it doesn't scare you, you're not shooting high enough. If I can do it on my own, then I'm not shooting high enough. I want to do things that I can't do on my own, so that I need the support from. So you just stumble through things and clarity will come. But I think it just goes back to what I was saying about wisdom, seeking the wisest choice and living with it. And once you live with it, say, well, I made this choice for this reason, and so I'm going to stick with it regardless of the consequences or whatnot, because I made it with all the wisdom I could, all the wisdom God has given me. So you got to be comfortable. You have to be comfortable with falling on your face, and you also have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, because certain decisions are just hard to make, but they must be made.
Well, as we live, we're going to be uncomfortable. As you live this journey, and the reason why so much wisdom in that, because I think we're in a generation today where a lot of, and please, I hear a lot of your generation. We hear a lot of the word is thrown around a lot, is trauma. Everything is traumatic. Well, the truth is, if you live in this journey, you're gonna go through a lot of challenges. There's no such thing to walk through life and not have challenges, or not have people leave you, or not have job losses, or not have relationship failures. As long as you live and you're dealing with human beings in this journey, you are going to have experiences unless you're not alive. So I think you have a lot of wisdom in that. I just don't hear it out of the mouth of 23-year-olds. So that's pretty cool. Okay. What do you hope to attain being a physical therapist? I know you mentioned service. There's a lot of things you could do to serve. Why this area for you?
I broke my collarbone freshman year of high school and then broke my tibia sophomore year of high school. So when you go through an injury, just any type of injury, you realize that it's more than just a physical thing, but it's a mental thing as well. So my physical therapist was just very understanding, and he helped me through both processes because you have to adjust in your life. So fortunately for me, it was only a collarbone which heals and only a tibia which heals, but you have to adjust during those moments too. So they taught me to adjust. Actually, after I broke my leg, I was sleeping on the couch upstairs, and my dad said, "Hey, you gotta go back to your bed." I'm on crutches and legs broke, and I'm like, "That's downstairs." But it taught me I have to adjust, and life's gonna throw you curveballs, but you have to figure out how to adjust, and it's gonna be uncomfortable.
Okay. So that process of having a good physical therapist, you thought, I want to change lives like this person changed your life for me. Is that fair?
That's what you asked. I forgot the question.
No, that's okay. No, I think you answered that. I mean, I think you did. I don't know if there was like a golden moment and you thought, or you left after the healing process. You thought, what was it for you? Was it the initial part of it, or was it the actual healing process when you went back and thought, I want to do this?
Yeah. Well, I grew up around caregivers, my mom being a nurse and my dad working in police athletic league, just different types of caregivers. So I knew I wanted to go into like a caregiver role, but physical therapy just helped me figure out which one I wanted to go into. All those spaces, you also, when you go to serve, you're being served in a way too. I think people's healing it's a group process. So you learn from people just as much as they're learning from you.
Oh my God, you're there.
So when you...
That's true. No, you do.
When you have these patients, you're helping them, but you also want to listen to what they have to say because they have life experience too. So some things that you might not have experienced, and you can take stuff from their life that might work and apply it and just learn from other people. So you have people of all different types of ages, so you can stay connected with what's going on in the different age groups, whether it be older or younger.
Now, I need to say this. Damon Jr., he worked for Courageous Home Care as a caregiver, right?
Yes.
So I just want you all to get an idea of the quality of human beings that serve at Courageous Home Care. And you worked in the homes.
Yeah.
And so you know what that work is, and you know what it is to care for those individuals or those with disabilities and have that compassionate heart and caring heart. You want to say anything and chime into what this young man said about his career path? And I'm just curious, were you like, yes, because I'm healthcare, he's healthcare, I see a way for him to take, he's taking this over. When I'm retired, you got it, Damon.
Yeah, it was interesting because when Damon graduated, I think that's when he started working for Courageous, or was it before that? Probably was a little before that. He had to be 18, however. Yeah. So he worked for Courageous. He also came over and worked for Blessed. And, it amazed me how Damon was so compassionate. We had an elderly lady, I don't know if you remember because you were on the board, and Damon actually did personal care on this lady. Men don't do personal care on females. And I just saw his heartbeat. I was like, wow, that's my 18-year-old son caring for an older lady. She had to go to the bathroom. He had to help her. And he did personal care, help her wipe and all that. I was like, that's something that, because not a lot of young people are like, I'm not doing that. And so he had that heart. He didn't see her as, I got to wipe this female. He saw her as, this is an individual that needs my help, So he's been in that caregiving. It's like maybe he saw what we do and this dumping. And so even when Mom came to live with us, he was helping with Mom there and taking her to the bathroom and putting her eye drops in, learn how to do blood sugars and blood pressures. And so he kind of just fell in that role, from teaching him, let's do this, son, And so it's really cool to see that, they do watch what you do and mimic, not every child will do that, but, he took that role as, I'm a caregiver, and so it's pretty cool.
That kind of goes back to perspective because if I'm this person, I may be one day. How would I want? Do I want somebody to be half? half taking care of me. No, I want full care. I want my butt to be clean too. So I was like, one day, hopefully, I'm this old and I have someone taking care of me with the best of their abilities instead of halfway or I'm kind of gonna, because one day I might not be able to take care of myself. So,
So last words. I want you to kind of close us out here on presence. I want someone who is out here listening today, I want them to be able to walk away and be still and be present in the midst of their most challenging storm. Close us out with some words that will be able to help these individuals be able to sustain in very trying times.
I think we can go back to Jesus walking on water. There's a storm going on then. Jesus is there. God is always there. Whether you're in your bed, can't get out of bed, God's there. Heartache and pain, God's there. Not only that, he's just there, but he can understand too. So he's not condemning you from having the emotions he's giving you. So you can find comfort that my God is there and he understands. And then just outside of that, he also given us community. So you're never alone. I was having a conversation with some of my God friends yesterday. They feel like it's them against the world, but that's just a lie of the enemy. Because God has given us the body of Christ to lean on. So he's there, but we're also there for each other. There's somebody that cares about you, and there's not, go make a connection. But you're never alone in anything. The human experience is not that complex. We can relate on some way or another. So I think that's another thing. People think their issues are just so it's not. There's someone else who has gone through that, and you can find that somebody else, and then you guys can help each other, or at least you can empathize with one another. So,
whew, well said. Damon Jr., we thank you so much for hanging out with us today.
Thanks for having
Well said. Well said. You agree, Ma?
Yes,
I think
I
you
agree.
said all that.
Yes.
We can end the show right here.
Yes.
But before we do that, we do need to give some contact information. Would you be so
Yes.
kind?
We are Courageous Home Care. We're located in Lee Summit, Missouri, and our phone number is 816-699-2352. You can like us on Facebook, and also you can go to our YouTube page and subscribe. So, blessings.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Be present.
Yeah.
Still in his presence. Thank you so much, Damon Jr., for hanging out with us today.
Thanks for having me. Love to be back.
Thank you.
Thank you.